Friday, 10 o'clock tune in. It's showtime, the EV Café News.
Wow.
Oh, man. That just fills me full of joy. I may have done a little bit of additional work with that over the last week, but man, is that tune awesome. If you want the full EP of that tune, forget it. It's 15 seconds and it's awesome. Tune in every Friday for that. Welcome to the News and Views with the slightly manic EV Cafe 30 minutes of what's happening in sustainable transport with expert analysis from the crew, and we are massively proud, as you might have told from the intro, of our sponsors, Drax Electric Vehicles, outstanding business EV solutions, and actually they're just a great bunch of people to talk to about EVs and everything to do with our industry. Today's opinions on a stick. Let's start with the glamour first. Paul, where you at?
There's the glamour. I'm at EV Blocks, one of our sponsors.
No.
They do wonderful things like this. And I've broken it already, obviously. No, but this is the concrete base. They put a steel thing there that goes, and then you bolt the charge point to the top. Makes life really easy. You do things just once, and we're going to do a proper film where you'll see it all, and I'll be here. But I've had a wonderful week, and here I am at the end of it, ready to collapse. Anyway.
Thank you so much for your Blue Peter style introduction of something technical there. Appreciate that.
Here's what I prepared earlier.
We've got Beauty and the Beast in the house as well. Sam, obviously Beauty.
Well, thank you. Yeah, good morning, and thank you, Paul, for letting us know where you were, because I just wouldn't have worked it out if you hadn't said that. But
Well, I'm
Good
glad
week.
to enlighten you.
no, it's all good. I was also not at the races like you, John, but I was in Cheltenham where I live, and I was enjoying a few beverages yesterday afternoon with some friends, which was good fun. We also lost money too, so you're not alone.
Yeah, it wasn't a good day yesterday. But anyway, and then we have the beast of intellect that is Sarah Sloman. How are you, my dear?
I'm very happy.
Must overcome delays to the charging network rollout, they're being told. What's happening here? Sounds a bit odd. We'll unpick that mess in a minute. A global youth survey by Economist Impact finds electric vehicles are the preferred mobility option. We find out by whom. And experts predict a $15 billion market will emerge out of electric vehicles' critical component innovation. An interesting market development there. But first, yes, the new thing that's no longer new. It's growing in popularity so much that people are messaging me late at night saying, can we be part of the EV Commercial Clap, where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry? Go, Joe. Roll them.
The commercial clap from the EV Cafe.
Innovation applauded.
Oh, yes. And first up, applauding the innovation at Europcar. They were this week named Rental Company of the Year at the Fleet News Awards. A massive congratulations to us all. And there's my old mate, Tom Middleditch. What a superstar that man is. We're delighted to have played a part in that EV journey. But the big news and the commercial clap is that effective from April 2025, business account holders will be able to rent EVs at the same price as internal combustion counterparts, removing a financial barrier to more sustainable fleet operations. So you can hire an EV for the same price as a traditional. Oh, what's Paul doing? He's Fleet News. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
Very
From our
risky
roving
business keeping the rest
reporter.
of your camera roll on there at the bottom of the screen. We'll all be looking back at that.
So that's really, really significant news. Price parity for EVs with internal combustion engine vehicles. Utterly brilliant. Only one in the market. We love them. Well done, Tom, and all the team there. A story from Aleph Aeronautics, who spent nearly a decade developing and testing flying car technology. Aleph has already secured a $1 billion pre-order list, making it the best-selling aircraft in history by annual pre-sales. Its innovation has reached an estimated 2 billion people via news and social media, and Sam is not taken in by that one teensy little bit. However, it's an interesting development. Flying cars, is it really a thing that excites you, or is it pie in the sky? Do us a favour, hit the comments. You see what I did there? Tell us in the comments, what do you think? Is Sam right and this is just a load of baloney, and frankly it hasn't ever done a thing? It's all pre-orders and nothing will ever come of it, because we know that's likely to be his position. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Sam?
It's not a flying car. It's a drone that looks like it's shaped like a car. Like it does drive. It does drive, yes, but you put a pork pie in the back and you're overloaded. It's a little bit early to say it's a flying car.
It's a bit like saying that a Twizy is just a quad bike. Come on, the Twizy was one of the greatest inventions in the world ever. Now then,
final actually.
And a final piece of commercial clap. Zenobē, the UK's leading owner and operator of grid-scale batteries on the GB transmission network, has announced that Europe's largest battery site, located in Blackhillock, Scotland, has begun commercial operation today. I was with the guys from Zenobē yesterday, and they are buzzing about this, if you'll pardon the expression. It's a 200 megawatt battery storage facility, which essentially stores energy from offshore wind and will go up to 300 megawatts. Now, what does that mean? In essence, they are able to power 3.1 million homes, basically Scotland, for an hour with what's stored in those batteries. It's quite remarkable. The biggest scale, it's between Inverness and Aberdeen, and it's significantly reducing the amount of wasted energy that we just couldn't use onshore when it was generated. Absolutely brilliant. So glad to see that. Zenobē, well done. Europcar, well done. And Aleph Aeronautics, we'll wait and see. Is it just a drone, or is that the sound of Sam? That's the commercial clap. Let's move on. Right, the news. The number of public charge points in the UK has surpassed 75,000. Latest data from ZapMap shows that at the end of February, there were 75,675 charge points in the UK, with high-powered devices continuing to show the strongest growth. The figures represent a 32% year-on-year increase compared to February 2024, when 57,290 devices were recorded. Operated by Ionity, the 75,000th public charge point is one of 8 ultra rapid and 4 rapid devices installed at the Village Hotel in Bristol. It's down your way, Sam and Sarah. The 75,000th charging device reflects the encouraging growth of the country's charge point infrastructure. 2024 saw a record rate of charge point installation, with particularly strong growth in ultra rapid segment, 150 kilowatts plus, which has seen an increase of 74% in installations since the end of February 2024. Sam, you're so heavily involved in putting in this charging infrastructure. Phenomenal growth. It's brilliant to see, and I think we're also seeing more in terms of reliability as well.
I think we are, yeah. And I think rather than giving an industry view, I'll give a personal one, which is always dangerous when you do a personal experience of EV charging, but never, because it never necessarily captures the general thoughts. But I've got lazy now. I've got lazy in the way that I charge my car. Like, I don't worry about it. If I've got 100 miles, 250 miles when I leave home, you know, it's just an extra 10, 15 minutes to stop and charge on the way wherever I'm going. I've become lazy. I've started driving my electric car like I used to drive my petrol car many, 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 many years ago. And that's a really good thing, because the infrastructure is there. I can use it when I stop and grab a coffee. I can, you know, it's become flexible. It's become just almost easy. And yes, it still takes longer to fill up with energy than it does fill up with fuel. But, you know, you just change your behavior pattern just a little bit, as we've been saying for many, many years. But it's become so straightforward now. That I just think that's such a great encouragement for the industry, and we'll hopefully, you know, we'll be tapping on the door of the laggards soon enough to get them to make the switch as well. But it's it's really positive news for the industry. You know, despite huge headwinds, it's growing rapidly. Just bear in mind, we're also spending tremendous amounts of money, and that has to be recovered sooner or later. So just bear that in mind along the way.
Absolutely. And Paul, are you finding that your experience is similar, that you are lazy when you're charging? You just go and charge where you need to?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I've turned up here in a industrial estate in Peterborough, and there is a rapid charger around the back here, which is there for public use. And if I'm traveling around doing my job, then we know that actually there's a lot of very convenient charging. Not only the charging on buildings like this very building, which companies are fitting their own charge points, but public chargers within trading estates. I mean, I can think of a few in Farnborough and a couple of other places, the way where you just you would go anyway to do your work, and then you can just plug in and for a few minutes get the job done, both in a public sense and in a private sense. And I'm quite optimistic about pricing as well. I know Sam's saying there that the price needs to be recovered and all this investment, but with companies coming with 39 pence a kilowatt hour and stuff, I can see now that actually disruptors are coming to the market to bring that price down. Now, that does challenge the whole supply chain of energy to get the cost down so that those prices are sustainable. But I'm kind of optimistic that we might see lower prices in the future as well for public charging, which is good news.
I was with an unnamed source yesterday from Drax, and they were saying that actually they're putting in chargers now with big advertising screens on, and we've all seen them, Sarah, and they're able to make revenue from selling the advertising space. And in some locations, it actually doesn't matter the level of utilization of the charger, because they can make more money from the sales of advertising than they can from charging. Quite remarkable.
Yeah, out-of-home advertising is a really big thing for screens. We've seen the screens with the small A4 size bits of paper, but these are gigantic things that offset the initial cost through selling advertising space. Absolutely right. But what I find great about this story is there's been so much talk this week about we need more signage to help people find the chargers. Well, most of the chargers going in now are so bright. It's like pulling into a theme park here at Exeter Services. There's easily 50 of them, and I still am not in a position where I'm still stopping to charge. I'm definitely still stopping to charge. That's absolutely correct. I'm spending an hour doing it today because I've got a long journey to do, but it wasn't hard. Didn't struggle to find them. Didn't need a sign on the motorway. I knew they'd be on the motorway. And then when I got here, I was pleasantly surprised with how many there were. Now, if I had a destination charger last night, I wouldn't need to be doing this today. So there's still a little bit of way to go for that AC convenience piece at hotels in particular.
Yeah, and a proper shout out there for Arnold Clark and their charging network in Scotland, which is Kempower kit, and it's utterly brilliant. You have to book your slot, so get online, have a look at the Arnold Clark website. Brilliant investment. I think it's 30 sites that they have in Scotland, and utterly awesome to see them doing that. And they've always led the way actually with EVs, and Jim Blair is a big friend of ours, and we're very grateful for that additional charging in Scotland. Shall we do some shout outs?
Love a shout out. I'm in the chat, everyone. Come on and talk to me. I'm enjoying texting you. Text me back.
Sounds very dodgy, that. But anyway, let's move on. Economy trucks. Now then, we had a debate this morning, economy trucks, and we couldn't remember your name. For the love of God, do me a favour. Could you put your name into the chat, and we will all commit it to memory, because you were the first one in the door at 9:22 this morning. Bless your little heart. Gary Comerford at 9:30. Scott Eady also at 9:30. He's got lots to say. There's a shocker. Evie Bino, Ron Godfrey, lovely to see you, and Michael Barton, happy Friday from Bristol. He's still in Bristol and we still love him. Ian Mayhew, he's in Bournemouth. That's lovely. Have a trip along the pier, my dear chap. Gemma Robinson. Now, she's from Drumnadrocket. Drumnadrocket. Would you have got that pronunciation right? I'm not sure I have. Ash Bannister, old two mugs, he's here. Paul Kirby, he's at EV Blocks, lovely to see you. Tom Middleditch, he was mentioned earlier because he runs the brilliant Europe Car team. What have they brought to the marketplace? It's PP. Put it in the chat. What does PP stand for as far as Tom Middleditch is concerned and the Europe Car team? Sarah Wellstead, good morning to you, ma'am. He's here. It's DEV. Chakravarti, bless your heart. And Stuart Humphrey. Stuart, you call us out. You give us shout outs all through the week. You're supportive in everything you do. Love you, hug you, and squeeze you, my friend. Leon Gomez is in Scotland. All the best people are, but I'm in Southport. Rachel Lewis, good morning to you from Compleo. We'll be seeing you at the Commercial Vehicle Show very soon. Sarah Sloman, get out of the chat. Amy Carter. Amy, my lovely, keep doing your physical, keep doing your educational, Just keep being you. You're utterly fabulous. Rob Dustin, good morning. He's here for Funner Friday. Yes, absolutely. 11 out of 10 today. Oh, my Lord. He's on it. Now then, Stephen Toombs. I don't recall ever having seen Stephen Toombs before. Toombs. I'd have made a joke at some point. Anyway, very sunny Leicester Square. You're the posh boy in London. Laura Hustwick Wilkes. Fabulous to see you. Kylie Glover. She's here from Greenfleet. We'll be seeing you later on at the CV show, I suspect. Paul, Shira Barnfather. Hello, mate. How are you? Michelle Breffett. She was all over LinkedIn last night with her wonderful Women Drive Electric. Good to see you. And then he's here. He's here, everybody. He's here. It's Peter Heath. He's got nice teeth. He's here, and we're looking forward to working with him. And then Screenwash King, he's in the house. James Hobson. Now, Screenwash King, if you don't know and you'd like to try little tablets that go into 5 litres of water and you can use them as alternative screen wash, let me know. I may have 1 or 2 samples from that man, and they are utterly fabulous. Commission. No, I'm not. And I said to, do you know what? I actually said to James, I don't want anything for this. I'm just going to do this because I believe in you and I believe in what you do. John Jessen, lovely to see you. My friend Mark Main, always a big supporter. Sarah Kennell, she was missed last week, but she's back. Lovely to see you. Welcome to the team. What else we got here? Mark Smith. It's normalised now. What's that? What's normalised? I'm not normal. Anyway, Teresa Swift. Good to see you. One of the team. Dave Pickles. Dave Pickles from Joro. Lovely to see you. Good, right. Who else we got? Ben McDonald. I'm going to have a McDonald's later because I haven't had breakfast yet. Lovely to see that. Not quite sure what I'll have, but it'll probably be a breakfast wrap. Mark Smith. Oh, an hour. Wrong tech in vehicle. Mark, we need more, my friend. Bob Murphy. Good to see you. He's a bit late. 10:14. Okay, what kept you, my friend? It better have been something good. I think, do you know what? I think that's probably Alan Akerster. Alan, lovely to see you. Yeah, there's a blast from the past. Yeah, good to see him.
There he is.
Yeah,
morning,
good.
Alan.
Right, we're going to get
John,
on with
you know what I'd like to know? I would like to know the origin of Tom Middleditch's name. Like, are there other people out there who's like Fred Leftditch and Steve Wright?
Now this is... And why is he not Central Ditch?
Yes, exactly. Why isn't he Tom Central Ditch?
Googles
Central
it immediately.
Gully. Tom Central Gully. He will be forever known as... I think we just lost a sponsor. Anyway...
Oh, okay. I actually have it. I have it straight away. The name from an unidentified place in Eastern England whose name means Middle Ditch or Middle Dyke. So it comes from living in a Middle Dyke.
I'm not going there.
No,
Right.
I'm not
Let's
sure I
move
should
on.
have.
Let's do some news. Now, this is interesting. So we've just talked about charging and how fabulous it is and 75,000 chargers, all is good with the world. The UK government has been slow to address gaps in charge point provision across the UK and needs to address calls for delays to the rollout of infrastructure, according to a new report. According to the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee, and yes, I did read the minutes, there continues to be patchy availability for electric vehicle charging in large swathes of the UK, motorways, and concerns around regional divides and inequalities for different groups of drivers. The PAC said that to instill confidence, charge points need to be installed in advance of need, with motorway service areas particularly to act like a shop window for drivers to feel secure that charge points are widespread. But evidence reveals a third of the 114 areas have yet to meet Department for Transport original ambitions for each to have 6 ultra rapid charge points by the end of 2023. Now, we've been talking about this quite a lot, and Sarah, I'm fascinated by this whole thing about whether you see stuff or you don't. And when you're not an EV driver, do you see chargers? I'm not sure you do.
Yeah, like any target, it's a prediction, it's a trajectory. It's not going to be a straight line with numbers matching precisely what we hope. But it just give you a local example, a small community. 5-6 years ago, we agreed to some housing, which was supposed to come with 2 public chargers in the village. Now it's finally going in now, that long later. And everyone's annoyed about it. They're like, well, we don't need them now. We've got rapids on our doorstep now. So these targets should be a moving feast the whole time. It's about sort of, let's look at something more useful as a metric. So how many vehicles are on the road versus how much the utilization is increasing on the charges we've already got, and avoiding saturation, of course, would be a great goal. We don't want to end up with, like me here today, driving around and driving off because there's no rapids available. So, if we can get that balance with destination charges versus the rapid facilities as well, I think everybody everywhere will be well catered for once those driveway people are satisfied too.
Those driveway people.
Driveway people.
Paul, I'll come to you first, and then Sam, I'll come to you.
Well, I just wanted to say, so yesterday I was at SMMT Electrified, and despite sort of kind of arguing about the ZEV mandate a little bit, they have a very positive view on electrification, and it's fully recognised as the future. One of the things, of course, is pointed out of charging infrastructure and where it is. And what was interesting is there's sort of one charger per 28 vehicles or 27 vehicles across the UK, electric vehicles. However, in London, there's 1 in 10. And in the north of the country, there's 1 per 57. So there is a disparity across regional, and we should recognise that actually regional differences do occur. But there is also challenges about knowing where those vehicles actually reside, because the registration data, of course, is predominantly dictated by where they are registered to, and there are big leasing companies. Lex are up north, Lease Planner in the south. It's or Avons as they now are, but so we have regional pockets that are, it's hard to get that data to be precise. So but it does show that there is some disparity.
Yeah. Sam?
Well, there will always be disparity, and regional differences should occur. I mean, there's, from memory, I think there's 2 petrol stations in central London. I mean, relative to the population of that area, that would sound like it's wrong, but it isn't. So there's a lot of different data points. I mean, this PAC, I've never even heard of them, Public Accounts Committee. What they're saying is logical, but at the same time, it's a very sweeping statement to say we need to just put stuff in before demand is there, because that's just not the way it works. I mean, we have an entire data team that spends months and months and months analyzing unimaginable amounts of data to try and work out when to put charges in at the precise point when the demand is there, not to put loads and loads of charges in at huge investment and hope that people might turn up because it's an empty area. That's just not how it works.
I see Paul having a counter
there's
discussion.
a big
point.
counter to this, because what was recognised again by Vicky Reid actually of Charge UK, and also by the SMMT, is that the charging infrastructure has to go in ahead of demand, and particularly when you think of Mylance and Immingham. There is no chance that they are going to be fully utilised probably for the next 12 months or 24 months potentially. That charging infrastructure has to go in to provide the confidence for people to make the shift, and the zero emission demonstrator program is one of those things.
It's tremendously easy for those that are very informed people who are in institutions that don't spend the money putting this stuff in. They're just saying this is what we need to do, and they're not wrong.
Done.
No. This is the SMMT and Charge UK, etc. I mean, they obviously will have that. No, I'm coming to that. So the first point is that those sort of representations are not the ones who have to go and raise the money. They're the ones who just see that the demand needs to be there, and they're not wrong. It's just there is a timing issue that we have to be very careful of for those of us that have to spend the money to put the stuff in, and they do not have that lens. They do not have that lens to have to deal with. And as far as Mylance is concerned, it's fantastic what they're doing, but they've piled unimaginable amounts of investment into it to build that ahead of demand, as we did at GridServe years previous with the passenger car stuff. So that's a different economic model as well, whereby people are raising huge amounts of money to get the market started. So it's a great site, but it's not a good example of the wider industry.
I disagree, but anyway, there we go.
I'm absolutely delighted that you disagree and that the two of you have a different perspective on this. What is clear is that charging infrastructure is going in. It is going in at pace, and we are finding a huge growth in EV ownership as a result of the investment that has been made and future investment to come. It's all good news as far as I can tell. Now then, Nissan commissioned economist impact on a survey that targets the targets the future mobility choices of young urban dwellers. With findings that reveal younger generations' preference for electric vehicles reinforces Nissan's ongoing efforts in electrification and commitment to sustainable solutions to meet evolving needs. The key findings of the survey were that the majority, 57% of young city residents, are willing to change their travel habits to reduce their carbon footprint. Number one reason: those in emerging cities see environmental concerns as an urgency for their mobility choices. Sarah, this is fascinating, isn't it? That the young
Love
people
it.
get this.
Yeah.
My issue with this is that surely we need more electric buses, more electric trains. We need to have affordable, publicly available electric modes of transport, whether that be bikes, whether it be scooters, whether it be cars. We need affordable options for people.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. That age group is so open to this sort of way of living. Sharing vehicles is really critical, car clubs, but the transport hierarchy comes into its own when you live in a city. You can actually have choice. It's the rural locations that I feel sorry for. My friends' sons and daughters who are hitting sort of 20 something and still don't own a driving license, let alone a car, because they just simply can't afford to. So for our industry to take advantage of zero emission transport for that age category and wage category, age and wage, we're going to need to see those magical sort of sub 20 grand vehicles available to them either through LeaseCo. And that's the other thing, you can't even lease it till you're 25. There's lots of foibles about accessing electric vehicles at that age with some companies. So I'm really watching them closely. It's actually feeding into the employment market too. Businesses are seeing an influx of those people who want to work for a fabulously sustainable business and feel like they're devoting their lives to something constructive and progressive. We know this from our ESG studies around the world. So the future's really bright with that age category.
Absolutely. That's one of those key areas that we, as an industry, need to be targeting and making sure that we leave nobody behind. We need a just transition. Harpreet Singh, 10:26. Sorry I'm late. Do you know what, my friend? You coming in with 4 minutes to go deserves a big shout out. Bless you so much. Right, we've got to crack on with the last story. And that is, if I can find it, because I was planning to bin this one. All right, I'll give you a choice. We can either talk about a £15 billion market which will emerge out of electric vehicle critical component innovation, or we can talk about Elon Musk and Tesla and its impact.
I just don't want to talk about Elon Musk. Tell me about the million, yeah.
There we go. Experts predict a $15 billion market will emerge out of electric vehicles critical component innovation. The global market for electric vehicle plastics is on the rise and is expected to rapidly increase over the next decade. EVs boast a ton of benefits. No tailpipe emissions, blah-de-blah-de-blah. We know all of that stuff. Whilst EVs are great for reducing the environmental impact of transportation, they contribute to a growing plastic problem. To keep the car lightweight, plastic makes up around 50% of an electric vehicle. And now that is recyclable. That is good news. However, it is still hugely energy intensive, and a rise in plastic production and a growing market may seem like an environmental nightmare, but it's not. But what we do need is plastic which is shifting towards sustainability, longevity and recyclability. Now, $15 billion, Sam, whilst there's nothing delivered here, there's a huge market to stimulate innovation in this area. Can you see that happening already in the marketplace?
Yes, I'm thinking back of a BMW i3 I used to have, and the recycled nature of the materials that were in all of the dash and all the components. And it's all. I think it's great news actually that people are starting to recognise a couple of things. Actually, springs to mind, John. One more broadly, I was just thinking on that last news article how our news has changed since we started doing this, and I mean by the type of news that we're talking about, it feels very much like we're at the next level now. Whereas when we first started doing this, there was a fight on the whole time. Now we're talking about the inertia that we have. The movement in this sector is so encouraging, and this last article is just showing people now looking at the next level. So it's not necessarily about an exhaust pipe versus a battery. It's about what's the next bit we've got to try and sort out, and it's energy, it's plastics, it's components, it's wiring looms, it's all the other ancillaries now. It's brake dust or what tire wear. So it's encouraging to me that we're starting to really get into the details now of all the other components that can also be better environmentally served. So I think as a general thing, I think this is great because we're starting to really understand all the component parts now, as well as the thing as a whole.
agree absolutely entirely, Sam. And I think in terms of next level, we have an opportunity to talk about that next level across the industry. So if you've got some innovations, something out there that you are doing that you want to shout about, just drop me a line, will you? hello@evcafe.org. We will look at those stories, decide which ones are the ones that will make our audience go, yes, please. And then we'll have them out there in the marketplace. This gets incredible reach across the weekend. So from now until Sunday night, so many hundreds of people watch this. It is important that you send us that information so that we can give the latest and greatest news. Thank you so much, Paul, Sam, Sarah. Until next Fridays, goodbye from me, goodbye from them. This has been an EV Cafe production. Other sustainability news services may be available, but this is just fun.
I bottled it. I couldn't do it.
Sarah Sloman, watch your
There's someone
mouth
having
out.
their review over there, and I'm just trying to listen in to see how she's doing.
Can I just say, quick shout out to Sam Cockwell in the Falklands, recovering from an appendicitis. Well done, Sam. Good man. Nice of you to join us.
Good, well, thank you, Sam. Right, the AA, Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Stuart Sign, Spirit, Schneider Electric, Dynamon, EV Blocks, and AW Energy. We are massively grateful to you. But Drax Electric Vehicles, they help us to bring you the news and also complete business EV solutions. We are the EV Cafe, supporting the most important transition to clean transport. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, wherever it takes you. I'm off back to Scotland. Until next Friday, adios!
So much fun.